You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
All right, we're waiting to talk to Robbie Knievel, obviously son of Evel Knievel, who's son of Eunice Knievel.
Keep going.
I always laugh because that was like one of my first jokes I ever said on K-Rock on Kevin and Bean in like 1994. And I have no idea. It's not even funny, but it always makes people laugh when I go, there's Robbie Knievel, there's Evel Knievel, there's Mom Eunice Knievel. And for some reason, it's just, I don't know why it's funny. It's a rhythmic thing. Robbie's on line 5. I've watched Robbie do a lot of jumps. I've watched his father do a lot of jumps. I've watched a special on his dad, Robbie Knievel.
Hey, how you doing, Adam?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. You know, I watched repeats of Rocky, so I'm doing all right.
We will Knievel Lucian, son of Evel. Did I get that right, Knievel Lucian, the book?
Knievel, well, the Lucian, I don't know if you're right-handed, but thanks for the handshake. But Knievel Lucian, yeah, evolution. Just following in my dad's footsteps for, God, since 1970 now. 8 years old, Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, it had
48 years, I think. I don't know.
You've done the Grand Canyon jump. You've done the Caesars Fountain jump. I guess one of the nicest tributes to your dad is all the young guys coming up wanting to do the Caesars Palace jump as well. We just watched the Jockey Tower jump, 13 stories in the air. Was that the scariest jump you've ever done?
Yeah, it was. You know, it wasn't the furthest. It was like 20 cars. But the buildings were offset. It took us forever to find the buildings. It was an idea of mine for years. You know, it was crazy. It's like if you land short on any jump, you're dead. But that one was a little more scary.
Well, landing short on a jump will kill you.
When you get 30 million viewers and they like what you're doing, that's kind of cool.
Your dad seems like one of the most complicated and difficult guys on the planet to grow up with. What was that like, and what are your feelings now?
He passed away now, so he's not that difficult. Now I have puppets of my dad. I've always been a comedian. I had a puppet when I was a teenager, and I thought of this idea one day. I'm like, I'm going to have puppets that my dad made, one young and one old when he was on oxygen. So I've done my puppet show a couple times, but I want to put it on a big talk show and make them famous. They are funny dudes, and I can tell them what to say.
Was growing up with your dad traumatizing?
It was, you know, my dad was very verbal, and he was his own manager. He was his own, you know, promoter. There's no guy that, like, in 10 years, became Evel Knievel overnight success. In 1967, he did his first ABC live show at Ascot Speedway in Gardena, California. And then he went to Caesars and changed his black to red, white, and blue. And he jumped Caesars Palace. He's like, what guy's going to go down the strip and look at the fountains and go, I'm going to make you guys famous? And he conned Jay Sarno into doing the jump, who started Caesars back then. And all of a sudden, my dad was, after that crash, which was filmed by Linda Evans and John Derrick.
I remember that.
At the time, you know, it was like that crash was embedded in everybody's mind. So my dad became the biggest, fastest overnight success. And by 1975, his last big live jump over the 14 buses in Kings Island, Ohio, you know, he went from trailer trash to yachts, Learjets, and Ferraris. I mean, it was kind of traumatizing in a way, and it was weird. You know, it went from nothing to Miller light beer sponsor to yachts, Learjets, and Ferraris. It was crazy. It was fun, though.
I'm thinking now, if he had made that jump, that Caesars Palace jump, and there wasn't that iconic footage of him sort of just ragdolling and coming over the handlebars and all that stuff, I wonder I mean, I think we'd know Evel Knievel, but in a bizarre way, crashing so horrifically at Caesar's Palace is what completely and utterly put him on the map. Can we geek out for a second here, Robbie? Because I spoke to your dad about it some years ago, but I didn't quite get the satisfaction I wanted, which is the equipment that he was jumping on. When you look at the landing ramps that he was on, they were literally made out of, 2x10 planks over a van, like the motorcycle he had with no suspension travel and everything made of steel and nothing made of lightweight aluminum or anything else.
True daredevil.
How much more insane was it with the equipment he was on?
Oh, it was crazy. For my dad to do what he did when he did it, that's what made him famous. I mean, I love to go watch the races, but if there's not a crash anymore, I don't care. I'll have a jump contest with any NASCAR driver in the world right now. If they put up 1 million, they can go first. I'm just saying, my dad's stuff was just the things he did back then. The Caesar's Palace jump was 120 feet. I jumped 150 with tighter circumstances on a better bike, but I go twice as high, twice as far, and hit the pavement twice as fast and twice as hard. And people don't get that. I'm recovering from 2 major back surgeries. I have 12 screws over 1 inch in my back, cage, and 2 rods. I mean, it's just pain every day, and I hope I get a jump again, but I don't know. I'm 56. My dad was like 37 when he quit. But his equipment, you're right. It was that was like the biggest gap he ever tried. When he jumped 14 buses, that was like 115 feet. When he jumped Caesars in 67, 68, New Year's Eve, that was 120 feet. It was absolutely nuts. And that's why Evel Knievel became Evel Knievel, besides him being a self-promoter, self-manager, and coming up with ideas that nobody would ever hear of. It was just crazy. It's like watching the repeat of Rocky right now. Why Rocky came up with these beautiful friggin' stories. I mean, it's just people come up with things and things happen, and they're incredible.
Well, you'll be flattered, I guess, to know that. So, just quick to put a button on the equipment. When you see Evel Knievel crash, oftentimes he made the jump and he landed on the landing ramp. It's just the suspension was so bad and the equipment was so bad that when he lands, he then flies in the air again.
A little short, Adam.
Well, he
hit a little short. That's what happened at Caesars. That's what happened at a lot of his jumps. He always had a lot of good takeoffs, but his landings were terrible.
But
he would land short and hit the safety deck and bounce off the bike.
If he'd been on something with a monoshock and 12 inches of travel, he may have made it. I will say this.
My dad never did drugs, and maybe he should have.
I will tell everyone this, but I'm glad to tell Robbie Knievel this now. I've said it before.
I got to plug my movie, Red Blood Snow. I'm going to kill all evil.
Red Blood Snow. When's it coming out?
Blood Red Snow.
Oh, sorry, Blood Red Snow.
It's coming out probably. It's going to take about a year to film. But I play a vigilante. I come out of the military. My family's lived in a small town for 150 years. My mom's dying of, cigarettes and dementia and all that stuff. But I killed these people that killed my dad, overdosed my daughter on drugs. It's a good script. It's been out forever, but it just happened to pop into my hand. But that's what I'm doing. I got my puppet show with my dad, and I just did a book. Took me a year, called Knievelution, Son of Evil, and it's coming out next year too, like January, February.
Well,
so I've been working on a lot of stuff, and I hope to jump again. I hope to have I got a big jump planned with the Grand Canyon, but I'm waiting for the right time, the right deal. You can't insult my friggin' intelligence because I grew up with my dad.
I shall not, and I will. Speaking of your dad, I've mentioned it before. I was playing 20 Questions many years ago, driving to Vegas. You're in Vegas now, And you pick a celebrity usually or someone who's notable, and then people go, are they an actor? Is it a woman? Is she known for her beauty? Is she in a sitcom? And you drill down on it. I said your dad is the best all-time candidate for 20 questions because the people say, all right, I have my first. Are they famous? Yes. Do they know who they are? Yes. Are they actor? Kind of. Are they in sitcoms? No. Are they in sports? Kind of. Are they a household name? Yes.
I'm going to know this person, right?
You're going to know them. You're going to know them. And you just get, and then you go, are they a comedian? No. Are they actor? Are they, in sports? Football.
Action
baseball.
star?
Action star. You just keep going and going and going. You'll never get to Evel Knievel. It is the ultimate, and it was actually in a movie, I think.
And it's a good.
It was used in a movie,
name.
and it works every time.
Knievelution,
Knievelution,
the number one rated show in the history of wide world of sport.
Was his?
He holds like 4 or 5, and Muhammad Ali and Frazier are second. Wow. But my dad had 50 million viewers back then. But we only had 3 channels, you know.
Yeah. Hey, Robbie, here's a question for you. With all the highs and the lows, big picture. Happy Evel Knievel was your dad, or let's say we just picked a dude, made a decent income, stayed married to his wife, and was sitting there watching you play Little League when you were 9.
Happy landings, Evel Knievel. Keep the faith.
There you go.
Evel Knievel. Knievelution, Son of Evil, name of the book, coming out early 2019.
I make the puppet sing the song.
Well, let's hear it.
His name in every town. Is he for real or just a clown? Does he have wings? How can he fly? Is he a man like you and I? Everybody calls him Evel Knievel. You know, you can't forget that name.
Right.
It's spelled E-V-E-L.
And Blood Red Snow, not out yet, getting filmed.
So my cue.
But when it
I'm
comes,
going to have a blast filming that.
But when it comes out, you can come back on. Robbie Knievel, thank you very much.
Adam, hey, thank you, man. You have a good day and a happy Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Imagine Evel Knievel's your dad.